Hi everyone. Well, it is time to have the grade talk, which I know is important to all of you in terms of thinking about your grade in this course, and also important to the other people who care about you. And so this is just kind of a review if you weren't in class when we had this conversation, or just a little place to double check in case you have questions about the grading throughout the semester. First of all, I want you to know that the grading is comprised of three portions or three parts. 80% is demonstrated skills and learning, 15% is practice, and 5% belongs to work habits. So in that demonstrated skills and learning category, which is actually important to me the way that it's written, because it means that you are showing me your skills, you are showing me what you have learned. It's not a regurgitation, it is a demonstration of skill. So that said, in this section you would find exams, projects, papers. You only have probably about 8 to 10 assignments in this category all semester, but the great thing about these 8 to 10 is that you can revise them as much as you would like to. I want you to know that I won't put anything into this category if you haven't received feedback. So you need to receive feedback in some way in order for it to go into this category. Or it has to be a skill that we've practiced before. So if you're taking an exam, you maybe haven't had direct feedback on that particular exam, but certainly on the skills that are in that exam. The next category, the 15%, is practice, and it's exactly what it sounds like. This is your chance to practice and practice and practice, which is why you would find daily work, response to readings, practice analysis, any other skill that we're working on you would go in this category. And it's also why you would see the bulk of assignments in this category. So 40 plus, assignments will go in here. When you get back these assignments, you're going to notice that the way I score them is a check plus, a check, or a check minus. So if you get a check, that means it might not be perfect, but you are on the right track, so keep forging ahead. If you get a check, it means that there's something that's a little bit off. So maybe there's a skill that I need you to focus on. Maybe there's a component of your work that I need to see more of. And so if you don't understand the feedback on the assignment, then you definitely want to come and talk to me. If you get a check minus, we've had some miscommunication. Maybe you just ran out of time and you couldn't finish it, and that's what I need to know. Or maybe you misunderstood the assignment, and that's what I need to know. But when that happens, we definitely want to touch base, and that's your responsibility to come up to me, say, hey, I got a check minus, can I figure out what's going on? And we'll work it out. You'll also notice that most of the assignments in this category will be worth somewhere between 10 and 20 points. So that means if you get a check plus, that's worth 10 points. If you get a check 7, check minus 5. Sometimes students get a little nervous that getting a check won't allow them to get a B, and that's not really true because sometimes I go in between. But I have to say that what happens in this category is really important in terms of your practice. And so I think what's really important for you to know is that I'm going to give you honest feedback, especially when you are practicing. And it's not because if I give you honest feedback that you don't care for, it's certainly not because I dislike you. In fact, it's because I care about you. In fact, I care enough about you to be honest about your work in the place where it's not going to kill your grade. So that when you go to that 80% category, you have the opportunity to really perform the very best you can because you have gotten honest feedback throughout the rest of our experience together. The 5% belongs to work habits. So these are in-class things, right? Participation grade goes in here, and and it's not just did you show up, but are you present when you're in class? Are you engaged? Are you talking? Are you working with others? And I think that is really important. In other words, this is about the work of the course. There's another thing that happens in this work habits category. It's my late work. So instead of attaching late work, or detracting rather, late points from an assignment and say the demonstrated skills, I put it in a different category. So let me explain this. Let's say you turn in a paper and it's in the demonstrated skills. Let's say you turn it in a week late, but it's a really great paper and and you deserve an A on that paper. I want you to know that you deserve an A on that paper, and that's what you're going to get. If it comes in late, then it's not a demonstrated skills issue we have, it's a work habits issue we have. And so I'm going to separate that grade and take that out of your work habits score instead of your demonstrated skills score. So this is how it's going to look in the grade book. There is going to be an assignment in there called late work, and it's going to be worth 100 points. And all of you will start with 100 points. And then what will happen is as you have late assignments, I will take points away from that. So one of the ways that you and other people will know if you're having a work habits issue will come down to whether or not you have close to 100 points or you have a low number of points there. But for me, this is really a good way to kind of gauge the difference between what you're learning and then those habits. But most importantly, I want you to know that you are not your grade. You are not your grade to me. I know that it's important to you. It's important to me. It's important to the people who care about you. But I want you to know that it doesn't have to define you. It doesn't. Instead, I really want you to be a learner. I want you to be a person who is committed to getting better because you deserve the very best you possible. And I know that having a strong mind is one pathway to your very best self. So keep that in mind, even when things get stressful when it comes to grades, and never ever think any question is intrusive or too silly to ask. I have an open door when it comes to this course and certainly to grades, okay?